when you were watching this, the Oakland A's are probably not in the Coliseum anymore. Because as I'm recording this, it is the bottom of the seventh inning in the very last game ever in the Colosseum in Oakland. And today I kind of just wanted to pay homage, talk about the things that they could have done to keep the team here and make them just good, make them a playoff contender. Their owner wasn't a piece of crap. Talk about the greatest players to ever don an Oakland uniform and the best moments in the Coliseum. There's been so many. So first off, I'm going to start off with players that they could have kept over the past decade, which they haven't. They could have kept, I don't have a list, but I'm just going to start rolling them off. Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, Marcus Semien, Frankie Montas, Sean Manaea, Josh Donaldson. There's so many players they could have held on to. Starling Marte, Liam Hendricks. I'm pretty sure he was there. Sonny Gray. I mean, if you took players all around the league who have played for Oakland and put them back on the Athletics, they could make the playoffs. But they just have decided against paying anybody. They've had multiple generational talents that they've just traded away because John Fisher's greedy. Like, how hard is it to pay 2 or 3 of the guys I just mentioned? I'm not even asking you to pay everybody, but why? Why did you not pay a single one of your franchise favorites, people that people buy jerseys of? I mean, seriously. You at a lot of games now, you'll see a lot of Donaldsons, Semiens, Olsons, because people don't want to buy new jerseys because they know you're going to trade them. I don't think I've ever, well, there probably are plenty out there, but I haven't seen a Brent Rooker jersey, simply because the second somebody buys a Brent Rooker jersey, you're going to ship them off to Philly or something. It's just terrible. Brent Rooker's amazing. You know he's not going to be there very long. Because why would he? Oakland's not going to pay him. Maybe in Vegas they'll finally pay people, but I doubt that. They're not even going to be in Vegas for another 2 or 3 seasons. They're going to be in the freaking Sacramento for the next year or 2. It is deathly hot there. Why couldn't you just stay in the Coliseum a couple more years, stay in Oakland? But I guess, you're not going to get that lease back once you say you're going to Vegas. But seriously, if you kept any of those players, man, this team could be amazing. But no, didn't want to pay anyone. Oh my goodness, it makes no sense. And let's talk about some of the greatest players to ever don a A's uniform. Of course, you have guys like Rickey Henderson. He's the big poster boy. Everybody knows Rickey Henderson. One of the greatest base stealer ever. Then we have guys like Mark McGwire, Big Mac. Big Mac is one of the most prolific home run hitters ever. One of the few players to ever hit 70. Of course, it was with steroids, of course it wasn't with the A's, but still, he started out there. He is an Oakland legend along with Rickey Henderson. Another Oakland legend, Vida Blue. Vida Blue may have gone to prison, but he was a great guy. Amazing pitcher. I mean, he's one of the best ever. And then you have guys like Raleigh Fingers. Great mustache. One of the best closers ever. You also can't forget about Reggie Jackson, Mr. November. Before he was maybe before or after, I don't remember. I'm not looking it up right now. But Reggie Jackson, before he was Mr. November or after he was Mr. November, he was great in Oakland. He had a fantastic career there, and he played really well. Another huge face of the franchise. Sorry if I'm forgetting anybody. This is just all off the top of my head, and I need to get this out pretty quickly. So I'm just going to say those are the guys I can remember for now. And then you've had guys come out throughout the years. I mean, this team is legendary. It's one of the top 5 teams in baseball history. Has some of the most championships ever. Granted, I think they only won 4 in Oakland. But you could have stayed in Oakland if you could have built a different stadium, and even if you didn't build a new stadium, you could have just paid players and people would have shown up. It's not always about the money. And it should never be about the money when it comes to baseball. Well, sometimes it should be. But, like, that's only in situations where it makes sense. This makes no sense. The fans hate you. Everybody's sad. It's just a terrible situation. Why did John Fisher have to take away Oakland's pride? I mean, they've already lost the Raiders. And now they lost the A's. I mean, I get there's a bunch of teams close out there since it's Cali, but they took away Oakland's faithful. I keep coming back to that. I'm talking about different subjects, and I keep going back to complaining about John Fisher. So now I'm going to talk about some of the greatest moments ever in the stadium. First one I'm going to talk about, recent one, wasn't for them, but it was in the Coliseum with, I believe it was June 28th, 2023, Domingo Germán threw a perfect game with the guy making the last out being Josh Donaldson, former Oakland A, that didn't get paid, what do you know? That won an MVP after getting traded. And, you know, Germán 27 up, 27 down. First perfect game in like 10 plus years. It was a whole ordeal. Huge thing. Oh, man. Alright. Another one of the greatest moments ever was, of course, Rickey Henderson breaking the stolen base record. That's one of the most iconic pictures in baseball history of Rickey holding up the bag. I mean, it's just legendary. So now, of course, we talked about Domingo Germán's perfect game. Time to talk about some perfect games and no-hitters of Oakland's own. In 2019, Mike Fiers threw one versus the Reds at home. And then in 2018, I don't remember if it was in Oakland, but Manaea threw one against Boston. And then the biggest one. This one is iconic as it gets. Dallas Braden's perfect game in 2010 versus Tampa Bay. Perfect game thrown 14 years in the same ballpark before Domingo Germán. Dallas Braden, if you don't know who Dallas Braden is, that's probably a good thing. Probably means you have a life. He threw the perfect game on Mother's Day in 2010, which was extremely special because Dallas Braden's mother had died of cancer when he was younger. So he was able to throw the 19th perfect game in Major League history, and I believe the first in A's history to celebrate his mother's on Mother's Day in 2010. I mean, that's just legendary stuff. It's just so unfortunate. Oh man, I can't even talk about it, bro. The game's almost over. Right now, it's looking like they're gonna beat Texas, which, how awesome would that be? Another amazing moment that has happened inside of the Oakland Coliseum. If anybody remembers the reverse boycott from last year, that was legendary. I mean, that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Oakland had been dead for a year and a half, or maybe not a year and a half, but at least half a year. And then they all show up, and they get so loud that Langeliers has to go talk to the pitcher and, fix his stuff. Because the pitch comm couldn't be heard. So loud. And then later in the game, Trevor May came in, closed it out, and the A's won. And I believe they were on a winning streak when they were historically bad, or they had just started a winning streak with this win. Which, pretty great stuff. This year, Oakland's 68 and 90 after tonight, probably 69 and 90. Only 4 games left, I believe. Alright, guys. Little pause right here. It's top of the ninth. 3-2 count, 1 out. Bunch of police officers are going down to the field because Oakland fans are about to raid this field. I think a couple people have already ran on, but what it's looking like right now is the field's about to get stormed as soon as the game ends. So, but there is a bunch of armed police, so it should all be fine, but they got a lot of stuff to deal with. Alright, we're finally back in play. Mason Miller on the mound. Leody Taveras at the plate. Miller looking to strike him out. He'll get the swing and a miss. 2 outs, 1 out left. The Oakland faithful's going wild. There's, I believe, 40-something thousand there today. As the final game. There's some people in Marlins jerseys for some reason. Don't ask me why. I couldn't tell you. And now it comes down to possibly the last hitter in the history of this amazing ballpark. Travis Jankowski. Oh man, that's a little bit more anticlimactic than I expected. Imagine if it was like Marcus Semien or something. One of the guys I was complaining about earlier. Miller 0-1. He'll make the pitch. Fouled off 0-2. 1 strike, potentially 1 strike left in the entire history of this Oakland ballpark. Everybody in the crowd is, of course, standing. Want to see what's going to happen after the game. Who knows? Could give a speech. Could get the field raided. Miller stepped off. Now Miller will take the mound with an 0-2 count. 3-2 Oakland in the top of the ninth. Miller is 1 strike away. Make the pitch. Ball 1. Fouled off at 104. That's a tough one to foul off. Jankowski makes contact to keep the game alive. This is kind of weird that I'm probably having clips over the screen right now as I'm watching a completely different game. But that's fine. Miller on the mound. He will deal. And that pitch will be grounded to third. Throw to first. 3 outs. And Oakland wins their very last game ever in the Oakland Coliseum. They're all coming out onto the field. No fan storming. And it will be the very last game of all time in this legendary ballpark.
Closing out the Colosseum's history, Mike. I'm not crazy when the Rangers lose, but this one, in a way, felt okay.
Which, that's just tough. One more last game here. Only an inning and a half left of baseball. Blade made a great catch earlier in the game, and the Oakland fans went crazy. I haven't heard Oakland like that since before the reverse boycott. It was probably, back in the glory days, before they decided to give up everything. I thank you all so much for watching, and I appreciate you coming out to watch my basic memorial for, the Oakland A's. Even though their stadium sucks, it's still legendary and unfortunate. And rest in peace, Oakland.